Hey Miracle Makers! This short video is going to be for anyone who is tight through the shoulders and through the chest. So it's really good for someone who is sitting at a computer all day, but it is particularly good for mamas who are pregnant. So maybe you have some extra weight pulling you forward, which creates extra tension through here. Maybe you have a new baby, you're holding the baby all the time, maybe breastfeeding, or if you're like me, you have a new baby and you just stare at her all the time. That can cause lots of tension and a lot of tightness through the shoulders and the neck and the chest as well. And then even if you are a new mom or a toddler mom like I am and you have a kid on your hip all the time, this is one of those practices that really just probably need to do all the time. If I could do it every day, then I would. So let's do it. Let's dive right in. Before we do anything, please make sure you have a strap close by. The longer the better. A big long belt would work pretty well too. And 2 blocks if you have them. Come on to hands and knees. I start almost every one of my practice sessions on hands and knees because I find it is a really great way to warm up. So start by wiggling your tail from side to side, getting into any creaky spots in your body. Just do whatever feels good to you for a second or two before we start to move together. And then as you're ready, we're going to really focus our cat and cow on to the shoulders and the chest. So feel your shoulder heads move back and reach your chest forward as you start to look up. And then with an exhale, you're going to do the opposite. Press the floor away, round the upper back, feel the shoulder blades move away from each other. And do a few more with your own breath. So really tapping into your own rhythm, while at the same time opening up the places that you need to be open the most. Maybe do one more. Move as slow as you need to so that you can really feel the articulation of the spine. And then come back to a neutral pelvis. Bring your right arm out to the side so it's parallel to the floor. Take a big breath in here. And with an exhale, just thread it through. Bring your shoulder down to the floor. So your right palm faces up. Fingers are spread. And you come onto your left fingertips to help you gently guide the chest upward. And then breathe here. Of course, you might notice the right side of my head is resting on the floor. Keep it there the whole time. And then maybe you creepy crawl those left fingertips forward so your side body stretches and opens a little bit more. Feel free to stay here or bring your hand behind you. It can rest on your sacrum to help you open through the chest, or you can grab onto the right hip and the right thigh and then use that to peel the heart open. Wherever you are, pause, breathe, feel. Then bring your left hand back to the floor to press yourself back up onto hands and knees. Take a second in between sides again to just wiggle around, do what you need to do. And then when you're ready, left arm goes out to the left, parallel with the floor, and then thread it through. Shoulder comes down, side of the head comes down. Pop up onto your right fingertips to help you gently guide your chest open. So collarbones are going in the direction of the sky or the ceiling, but I've never met anyone who can actually get their shoulders, their shoulders back far enough and their chest open enough to actually face the ceiling. So just go easy on yourself and go to the place that you need to go that you feel a little bit of a stretch. That's all we're doing here. Maybe your right fingertips creepy crawl forward toward the front edge of your mat. Big side opening. Maybe the hand comes onto your sacrum. Maybe it reaches all the way around and grabs your left thigh. Peeling the chest open by peeling the right shoulder back just a little bit. Good, and whenever you're ready, right hand comes back to the floor. Press yourself back up to hands and knees. Bring your knees wide, bring your big toes to touch, and sit back in child's pose for just a breath or two. Hands are shoulder distance wide, and then bring them forward, forward, forward. So you start to feel a stretch through the undersides of the arms. Drop your forehead down to the mat. And then bend your elbows. Bring your elbows down to the mat. Bring your palms to touch each other. And then bring your thumbs to that spot right at the back of your head, or maybe toward the place in between your shoulder blades. So depending on shoulder flexibility. And then just melt. Sink down, breathe. Feel a stretch through the undersides of the arms. Feel a soothing of the breath. Some of you may even be able to get your chest all the way down to the floor, but that's not the point. Good. Bring yourself back up to hands and knees. And then just have a seat on your heels. Good. Grab your strap. Bring your strap out in front of you. Smooth down my hair after that child's pose. Bring your strap out in front of you. Strap is parallel to the floor in pretty much a straight line, and your hands are going to be quite a bit wider than your shoulders. Good. And then with an inhale, keep your elbows straight, keep your ribs back in space, and lift your strap up and over your head. Good. So the tendency here is to start to bend the elbows when things get hard. If you really feel like you need to bend your elbows, don't, but bring your hands further apart from each other so you give yourself just a little bit more room and a little bit more space to do the pose. Good. And then inhale, arms come back up and over and down. And then assess. If that was pretty easy for you, you might bring your hands just a little bit closer together and try it again. Again, if it was really hard, more space. Inhale, lift your arms up and over. And exhale, back and down. Inhale, up and over. And exhale, back down. Good. I like to do it 3 times. Because I'm OCD like that. You can do it one more time, or you can pause the video and keep going with it if it feels good. Otherwise, it's always okay to tell your teacher, thanks but no thanks. You can even say it out loud since this is a video. No, thank you. And then join me when you're ready again. Nice. Keep your strap handy. You're gonna bring the strap now to the bottom of your shoulder blades, so kind of where your bra would sit, if you're wearing one. And then the ends of your straps are gonna come forward under your armpits. And sling them, as long as there's no one behind you, up and over your shoulders, like backpack straps. Find those ends again behind your back and then crisscross them. There is a better picture of this on my blog, which I will link to below the video. Good, in case you're having a hard time following. And then straps, you have the ends again, you pull them forward and down just a little bit. You feel that nice, beautiful opening of the chest, of the shoulders moving back and away from the ears. This is quite possibly my favorite pose, if it even is a pose, of all times. It just feels so good through my shoulders and my chest fact, when I was pregnant, I used to just kind of tie this off. And I had a desk job, and I would just sit at my desk like this, and this is how I would work. People would come by like, what are you doing? And I would just, don't worry about it, this feels good. I'll show you how to do it if you want me to, but leave me alone. It was a joy as a pregnant person. Take another big breath wherever you are. And then let it out slowly. Good. Drop the straps off to the side whenever you're done. And then just take a second to interlace your hands behind the back. Squeeze your elbows in, straighten the arms, lift the chest, maybe start to lean back a little bit. Feel your wrists go from side to side, maybe. Some of you may feel your knuckles come all the way down to the floor and find even a bigger opening through the heart and through the chest. Good. Inhale, lift up, let the hands go. Know that you can repeat that version of the heart opener again if you'd like to, or you can bring your feet forward, so bottom to the floor, feet to the floor, knees bent. Hands come behind your back, fingertips facing toward your heels, and then just press down through your feet to lift your hips up and come into a reverse tabletop. This is also kind of like if you ever crab walked when you were a kid, same thing. Good. This is a really nice stretch for me through the heads of my shoulders and even through my biceps and my triceps. Good, and then sit back down. You can stay with either one of the other options that we just did, so the seated version or the crab walk version, or straighten your legs out in front of you. Point your toes and then press down to lift your heels up. Good, come into a reverse plank, Purvottanasana. And then come on back down. Awesome. So this last one that I'm going to show you is my second favorite. The strap opening is the first, this block opening is my second. So here's how we're going to set it up. You can have your blocks at any level you want. So they can be the lowest level. I find most people like this middle level, but one block is going to be for your shoulders, another block is for your head. And you lay over this bottom block at your shoulder blades, so the same place where we did the strap, the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. And then move the block so that it supports your head. And then arms come out to the side, palms facing up. If this feels pretty mild for you, maybe you straighten your legs out. Let your feet flop open like a book, like you would in Shavasana. If this still feels pretty mild, maybe you lower your block that's under your head down a notch. Some of you may even take the block and lose it and come all the way down and open. Arms can be overhead, or you can bend them to about 90 degrees. So you're like a sleeping cactus or something. And then once you choose your medicine, once you choose the best pose for you, just stay here for about 5 breaths. Focus on softening. Let your weight be heavy. Let your breath be soft and slow and gentle. And let the whole thing be easy. If you're struggling at all, just come out. Find a different position that is not a struggle for you, even if that means that you're just going to have a Shavasana. And then when you're ready, bring your feet to the floor. Roll to the side into your hands. So it's a little awkward getting up, but I think it's totally worth it. And then meet me in a comfortable seat. Fold your hands together in front of your heart. Notice the difference that you might feel, that I hope you feel, through your chest and your shoulders and even your neck and your jaw.